Morning traders, Joseph here from Eightcap. Welcome to this week's Asian session outlook and open. So we can see this morning that oil, after two very strong days to finish last week, has opened slightly lower with a small gap, and we will just be running over some of the markets this morning, how they're acting, and just any real key levels that we can see that we should be having a look at now. So the dollar so far this week is just in the red. It's after a small close lower to cap off last week, and it has started with a small gap and a small move lower so far this morning. We are seeing risk currencies at this stage trading higher. You can see the and the euro and the pound are all trading higher. The Aussie leads the gains at the moment against the yen and the dollar, and we're also seeing gains from risk majors to the yen, with the euro and the pound trading higher, and the dollar is just basically flat at this stage. The ASX is currently trading lower this morning by around 0.42%, and we are seeing gold slightly higher, as is silver and platinum. Now, taking a look at some of the stock indices early into the week, we can see the NDX is up 0.23%, the SPX is up 0.18%, and the US 30 is up 0.13%. Now, this is after a very choppy end to the week. I think we saw that lovely session last week where markets performed very well for that session before Friday. We saw a very strong sell-off to end the week, and that was across US stocks, including the Russell 2000, and it does continue to show a lot of support from this area here, but it does look a bit range bound at the moment. It's a similar story for the US 30. We really have some pretty key resistance here now set up at 349.79, and it will be, that goes up to the next key number as well. There's some short-term support down at 34.603 as well, but really now what we need to see is some direction in the market, basically, whether it be to the downside or the upside, and we can see it clear and just get some direction coming in from traders. Now, the NDX 100 as well, it has a little bit different picture. We can see a bit of a breakout here. That could, it's a very rough, ascending triangle breakout. It could also be a very slight wedge there, but the main thing we're going to be watching is this bar from Friday with a breakout, and if that does continue to push lower. Now, if we do see a new low today, that could signal more short-term selling. So we may do a bit of a write up on this one and do an independent report a bit later. So we can see that the RSI is also below the 50. It's below the moving averages, and also they're starting to cross and slope downwards. So a few negative things coming in there, but there is a bit of demand in this area here. So we'll continue to see how this fares throughout Monday's session. Now, the SPX itself is a similar pattern as well, but there's a bit more demand floating around. We do have a lower high here as well, but it still has a bit of a trend break in play as well. So now just looking at gold. So gold had a very firm finish to the week. It broke this short-term trend here. We do have a higher low here. Things do look okay from a buying side, but we really want to see a price clear this area, and that's been really holding it up lately. That's a point of supply and resistance at this stage. And then if we do get a rally going, we'd like to see what happens if buyers get back up to that 1944.14 area, if they can clear that area as well. If we do see a break, we'll be looking to see this area hold once again for gold buyers, and that's down at that 1905. Now, some of the currencies, so the euro had a bit of it had a bad week last week. After a small rally, we had a pretty crushing move lower after the ECB. Now, Friday, it did try to mount a bit of a comeback, but that failed. We are seeing a bit more of a comeback today. Overall, things look pretty bearish. We can see a nice series of lower highs, lower lows. We do have this demand area just down here, which was tested. So if that can continue to hold, that could be a good short-term sign for buyers. The RSI remains well below 50, so it's still it's still telling us it's in a bearish momentum phase. So what we'd really need to see is a push up, a higher low, and then another push up to really to show buyers are in the market. That could be a good sign from this area, but at the moment, don't be surprised if things do return to favor for the dollar and we see more selling open up on the Euro USD. There could be an exhaustion bar, but it could also be a signal bar as well. So definitely need more time. And while price does trade inside the body, it's a bit of a worry as well, because we need to see a breakout of a higher or low really to show us that price is getting direction. The pound had a similar story as well. It did put in a new weekly low, and this morning it is trying to fight a bit. We are wondering now, is it a little bit oversold? So we'll see if we do, what happens if we do get another rally up into this area, if it gets cut down once again, if we do see prices pushed lower. Now, some of the other indexes, so the ASX, as discussed, had a good crack at this resistance here, but it failed. We had a nice failed high and a push lower. So if we are looking to see if indexes do continue lower, will we see a new move back down to test this area at 71.94? And for the JPN 225, we're seeing, just give that a quick update. So we can see, similar to the ASX, we've had a test and fail at 2 points of resistance with this area here and here, and we've had a pullback, but the trend structure looks a lot nicer. So if we do have a pullback and stock momentum does move back to the buyers, will we see, you know, some support coming and a new move higher? So there's a little bit of conflicting things going on at the moment with some of the stock indices. So we'll continue to just see how things really go this week in the US, and some of the major drivers in China and through Asia as well in terms of those indexes. Now the Hong Kong 50, we'll just update it. It still remains in basically a triangle pattern here. Now it is lower today, but we'd really need to see probably a nice confirmation close. Moving averages is supporting, but like prices being lower, it is negative as well under the 50. But we would like to see a move back down to break some of these levels of support, and just to maintain those lower lows and lower highs that we're seeing. So also crypto is one to have a look at. We've seen some prices sort of starting to start coming back. So we're seeing 26.5 this morning on Bitcoin, and you can see a little bit of buying. Now it is in a decent looking little situation here. We've had that, you know, obviously that push down. We've had a couple holds at previous support areas, and we can see just starting now a bit of a range here after that breakout above those previous areas of resistance, which is good to see. We've had a little test here last week as well. So what we would like to see now is a bit of buy of confidence come into the market, and we can see a break of this high and a new push higher. So that's one to watch. Bitcoin sort of, we're leaning towards maybe the upside with it at the moment. It's pretty tentative at the moment as well, but definitely some signs there that buyers are trying to get something going in this area here. And Ethereum as well, we did have a bit of a pullback on the weekend, but we are seeing, you know, demand come back in once again at this area at 16.14. Now Ripple is below 50 cents this morning. ADA is 0.24, and if we just have a look there, it did have a bit of a decent pullback over the weekend. And so things aren't as firm on some of the coins as they look on Bitcoin, but generally when Bitcoin starts to get going, it will drag other coins up with it. So we will just see, as long as this stays inside and doesn't get back down to sort of these areas here, we'll then look for more support to come in. As long as this picture does stay the same and we do see a new push higher from Bitcoin, it could then be an overall positive for some of the major coins and crypto. So that's it for today's video. We will be doing a two-part again today with the economic outlook coming out a bit later today, and then we'll have an individual market report as well coming out. So thank you very much for your time. I wish you all the best for your week, and thanks for tuning in, and bye for now.